The Tribal Health and Human Services Department of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes is proud to present Good Medicine, a program dedicated to the wellness of the Flathead Nation. The mission is summarized quite simply: a healthier people, a stronger nation. We will strive to make Good Medicine a reliable source of ideas and information about health issues so that everyone can make informed decisions about their own lifestyle and health care. You'll meet health professionals, tribal government and spiritual leaders, and interesting people from the tribal community discussing important health issues that profoundly affect us all.
Hello, this is Good Medicine, and today we have some pretty interesting guests with us. And across from me is Kevin Locke, all the way from Standing Rock. And we got Dan Seals, who comes from, we might as well say, Nashville, Tennessee. He's just outside of Nashville in a little town. And for those of you who may not know who these guys are, we got Kevin is a renowned Indian artist and singing beautiful music, and Dan is from the old age of the mid-70s, where he was England Dan and John Ford Collier grouped together. And so we're going to have just a little conversation here today talking about what they're doing together here on the Flathead Indian Reservation. And so, Kevin, let's start with you. What are you guys doing in western Montana, Flathead Indian Reservation country, and what's the purpose?
Okay, well, I'm really happy to be here with Dan, and be happy to be on your show. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to give greetings to the viewers out here in the beautiful Flathead Valley. It's so beautiful here. And I wanted to just add that I was here over 40 years ago, and visiting my relatives. They were in Dixon, and it was, as soon as I saw this valley, it just brought back all kinds of beautiful memories. It's just so beautiful here. And we have the great pleasure of being able to visit with the young people. We've been to 5 high schools in the area. And the whole purpose, through the sponsorship of the Tribal Education Department, also a program called Gear Up, and I don't know, other sponsors perhaps, is to celebrate the theme of unity and diversity, to celebrate this theme. And the high school students, groups of high school students at all these participating schools have engaged in art projects that portray various aspects of this theme. And some of them are very creative. Well, they're all very creative, but they use all medium. At one school this morning, they did they make cakes, and they put slogans on the cakes, and they had a big cake party, I guess. And so that was really creative. Not very good for the diabetics. No. But, and also many of them have written poetry or done art projects, graphic arts, and so it's been really wonderful. And we've been able to meet with the students, various student groups, and have really wonderful dialogues and discussions with them on this theme of unity and diversity. Yeah.
Well, Dan, let's get to you. Dan, you heard Kevin's little PR on the whole process. What about you?
Well, Kevin and I have known each other more or less since 1992. We met in New York at a conference, and we performed together at a club called The Bottom Line in New York City, close to Greenwich Village. And so it was so odd to see us together on one stage, and we were kind of talking. We've seen each other a few times since then. And we always thought, well, we ought to do a Cowboy and Indians tour and something to really show our diversity personally and how we really like each other, and just trying to remind everybody more or less that we're spiritual beings and that our heart must be connected to a person rather than just putting up with them or tolerating them, or, that's not, we are diverse, but we want to go deeper than just howdy. You know, and a genuine appreciation. And so I got the time off. Dale Morrow, who is a guy that lives in St. Ignatius, is that right? He put together this thing, and he just, I don't think he's ever done anything like this, and we've never done that. Kevin doesn't do high schools. He usually does different schools, elementary, and I don't do many schools. I do nightclubs, and I do concerts in the park, and rodeos and things like that. So this is a first for me, and I think we complement each other. We play together with he plays the sacred flute, and I play guitar together with him, and we're just enjoying ourselves seeing your young people and trying to just celebrate, like Kevin said, our differences.
But yet, you know, you guys do have a medium, and the medium, a big one that we see right off the bat is music. And how do you see that as you're pulling that together? You know, a few years ago we had one of our local drums, one of our drum groups, played with a dance company out of New York, and it was really awesome. And so how do you see this medium coming together with your diverse music, and how you make it into one, though, Kevin?
Oh, well, we've been experimenting the last few days just on something improvisational, you know, because some of the flutes that I have are real traditional flutes, and they're not necessarily on any kind of a European scale.
Right.
If they are, it's just accidental. But I have one flute that is keyed to the symphonic or European scale. Okay. So then Dan found he found the chords that would match, and so we can just do something improvisational. But I think one of the things I think is that when you have the type of art form that Dan utilizes and myself, it's really a reflection of the grassroots people. I think they might even call something like folk arts, something akin to folk arts, you know. And so I think all over the world, these folk arts are very unifying because it really touches on something that's deep within the human soul that loves harmony and balance and beauty. And I think all peoples have this natural capacity to express themselves in these ways. But, you know, the result will be infinitely diverse. Just like, you know, for instance, the country music that the medium that Dan composes in is very different from the traditional type of music that I have. But yet, it's not necessarily, you know, it's just all going towards the same destination, which is to reflect, you know, the reality or light, and to express beauty and express something harmonious and balanced. So I might be talking way out there, but I think it's all going towards the same direction.
Well, you know, that's, I mean, because I know you got something to add to that, coming from the western side of it.
Well, I usually think of in terms, I don't think in terms of heart. I sing and stuff in heart, but I usually think with my mind. And this is such an exciting time in the history of the planet because scientists have determined that we really are one family physically.
Right.
And they've even found where we came from over there in Africa or Egypt or somewhere in a little small area, and that the great tree, the roots, we all go back to the same tree. And so we see a lot of people hoping that we can get together and stuff, but it's really, I believe, we know scientifically that we're one family, and now it's time for the heart to be moved, because you don't really sacrifice any time or part of yourself or anything else without the heart being involved, because it doesn't make sense. Like, why would someone give their life for someone? It's stupid, you know. But here in the heart, it makes sense to be moral and love people. And so we believe, Kevin, both I believe that through the arts, that this is going to unite the world, that religions will come together, that peoples will come together. And it's been promised in hundreds and hundreds of books, holy books, science books, all kinds of books, saying that the time is coming when we're all going to unite on earth. And so it's not leaving anybody out. Everyone is an important part of this. And the world is getting so small now with the internet that we feel that it's very close, this unification of people. So the arts, we think that that's the answer, because it touches the heart quickly, immediately, and no one has to sit here and give you a 20-minute answer like I just did. It's just like bang, you understand immediately that, oh wow, we're one family, and that Kevin's history and his religion and all that is valid. Where I was taught I was racist, you know, and realized that his way and the Indian ways were not true, you know, they were just savage or something. These are the things that that I've had to try to dump out of my life and come to the conclusion and let my heart open up that we're all one family. And so I get this tingling when I see him do the hoop dance and play the sacred flute and all this stuff on stage. Something way down deep starts vibrating. And it's something I don't quite understand, but I'm moved by the art. And so people tell me they're moved by my music sometimes. And so I'm moved by dance, you know, and theater and many things like that. So anyway,
Well, yeah, well,
that's why I'm here, is because
Right.
I wanted to bring my art to this and to bring my diversity of myself and maybe learn something myself.
Well, I think that's probably life, you know. I mean, you're trying to release the spirit within you because, you know, we all have judgment within ourselves. It's really easy to judge and want to change other people the way we want to change them. And instead of become the role model, and that's what I see the two of you stepping out and doing, is you're becoming, instead of hearing a sermon, you're being a sermon by your actions. Just by who you are, by you saying, hey, we're here because. And, you know, let's go to Kevin, because I know where your spiritual self is, basically, just by talking to you in a very short time. And what do you see this little mini tour, we'll call it a mini tour, what's it going to do touching the youth of this valley? But we want the adults to understand that, May 15th, 7 o'clock, Polson High School Auditorium is where you guys will be performing for the community. You know, get there early because there's only room for about 850 people there.
Yeah, right.
You know, but they're nice, relaxing chairs. It's not bleachers, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
But how do you see this as, coming from, from your spiritual upbringing? About how this is going to touch the youth of this valley? I mean, because you're here hitting the schools. There's a reason for that.
Well, I think you can plant seeds. You can plant seeds. I remember as a little kid, whenever we'd have a chance to have an assembly, school assembly, to this day I can remember those, even though that's like 40 years ago. And I can remember the impact that it made on me, how thought-provoking and transformational it was for me to see, to see this, see different presentations. And so, but I think it has to be a systemic movement for transformation. But really, this I see this happening all over the world, all over Indian country also, which is an awakening, an awakening to a new destiny, new prospects. And I think that like a college like Salish Kootenai College, everywhere I go in the U.S. through Indian country, I see that the colleges are really the bright spots in all the communities. It's really a dynamic, throbbing place where there's a lot of exciting things going on, like just personal development, personal transformation, and people really realizing that they have capacities that can be developed, and these capacities can in turn create something beautiful and positive in their communities, and they can nurture their families and have hope in their communities. It's a beautiful thing. I've been all over. I'm from Standing Rock. We have Sitting Bull College there, and there again, it's just a real bright spot in the community. So I'm not, what I'm trying to say is that I think that what Dan and myself are doing are just not like fly by night, or like I say, like for me, like a drive-by fluting. But I think it's just something that's adding a little bit of momentum to this process, which is in place already, which is just like a spiritual awakening of the people here, and yeah. So I think it's great. And then like the different organizations and different individuals that have sponsored us are definitely committed to creating continuity, creating like a foundation, infrastructure upon which you can just build this, because I always look at it, it's just like the world is going through what I would call like a springtime. And like in the springtime, I think here it's kind of the same as out where I live. We had a real late spring.
Right.
Late spring, right? So then, like starting in March, that's when it started getting really cold back home. We had like winter storm advisories just last week. A lot of snow coming down, and so like spring is not always smooth. You get a lot of tempestuous, tumultuous, chaotic weather patterns coming in there, blizzards, downpours, all kinds of stuff, tornadoes or whatever. So it's just like the same thing, the same exact analogy in the affairs of humankind is that, right, during the springtime, we can see this real escalation of, maybe you might say, forces of negation, forces of disintegration. We can see that all around, just like all the denial or the ignorance or whatever it is, hatred or prejudice, we can just see that all over happening. And you can see it right here in this valley, right here, anywhere.
That's right.
Anywhere. But on the other hand, this is what gets all the press.
Right.
The media. You're never going to hear people, on the
They don't sell good news.
CNN, no, you're not going to hear about all the good things going on. You're going to hear about all this bad stuff that's going on. But on the other hand, there's also this escalation of the forces of integration, forces of cohesion. You see, and I think what Dan and I are just trying to do is just say, hey, let's put ourselves on that side. Let's see what we can do to build something,
Yep.
build something positive, and just not on that seed's already there, but just needs encouragement.
Right.
So I say we're just kind of like cheerleaders or a little glee club out there, just trying to say, yeah, let's build up this positive side, That negative side's there, but if we just build up on this side, just like in the spring, you just keep building it up, and all that snow is going to melt, so.
Because the fruit is coming.
Yeah, it's going to come,
good
yeah.
fruit. It's going to be good fruit.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're well over halfway with our program right now, so we're going to take a quick PSA break here with Chef Crab Care on Healthy Living. It's sponsored by the Flathead Diabetic Project. So, viewing audience, don't go away. We'll be right back with Kevin Locke and Dan Seals. And so, this is Larry Pitts saying, be right back.
Hello, here's another fruit and vegetable recipe for better health. It's full of cancer-fighting nutrients, and it contains the secret of a good dip. The secret is texture. And one way to achieve great texture is with beans. I mean, it's true. Great northern beans can be pureed into what I would refer to as a silky smoothness for this delicious ranch-type dip. What you do is you whiz a can of rinsed and drained beans in a blender with up to 1/4 cup of water for 2 whole minutes, and then scrape them into a bowl like this. Now, what you do is you add a 1/2 cup of plain yogurt, a tablespoonful of roasted garlic, a pinch of cayenne pepper, and some finely chopped chives and parsley with just a little dried tarragon with it. And you mix that up and serve that with fresh spring vegetables, just like carrots, asparagus, cauliflower, sugar snap peas. Great taste with every bite. So go on, do yourself a flavor and enjoy your 5 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables every day. Texture.
And we're back with the Kevin and Dan Show. Oh, that's what he hit
With Larry narrating.
That's right. We're back, and we were talking more off here about communication, basically, communication skills. And you know what I liked about the two of you guys? You both can talk, but I also noticed you both listen very well, and that's 60% of communication, and that's probably part of the process you teach our kids out there.
Yeah.
And he's been very respectful, and that's just a really neat thing for me to see. And
It's something I've learned in the last couple of 3 days. I thought I was a listener, but they started giving ideas of, well, when you listen, you just can't wait to jump in on somebody, and do you jump in and can't wait to tell your side of it? And I said, that's me. So I've been trying to listen, and we've been doing a listening thing. The first thing we do with the art group of kids in the morning is we go through a listening process, which a lady, Joyce Olinga, she's from Chicago, she's documenting our thing a little bit on film, and so she taught us that and taught them that, and it's been really wonderful because suddenly the kids open up immediately, and then we just have a good time.
And I think what's really neat about that too is how you said jump into, and we know that you can't jump because you're a white man. But we know we have a hoop dancer over here, right?
That's right. White men can't jump.
That's right.
Or hoop.
But Kevin, you do the hoop dance.
Right, yeah.
Let's talk about that just a little bit because it's such a beautiful art.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I've been doing that for quite a few years now, and I always say it's a good antidote to the this rampant disease we have in North America. I call it boxitis. Boxitis is like the tendency that we have, we kind of get that way of kind of compartmentalizing everything and putting everything, you know, like one thing about a box in a square shape, you always have a corner or a back row or second row or third row, but you know, in a circle you don't have that. And I always think that, you know, we can get that disease. It's just like insidious. I go to a lot of urban areas, and I know the people are so confined, you know, this like in every kind of a setting that they're in, they always have like square ceiling tiles and square floor tiles and surrounded by square walls, and they're sitting in little square chairs, square desks, square rows, and they're sitting in front of a square computer screen or a square chalkboard or a square book, and if their mind wanders, they look out a square window, and then they sit like that all day, and then at the appointed time when they go running out the little square doors on a square hallway, square sidewalk, square curb, getting their square car, school bus, go down a little square street, square city block, square buildings everywhere, get to a little square suburb, jump out, go into a little square house, sit in a square chair, sit in front of a square TV, and sit there for a while. Then they get hungry and they go to the fridge, get a box of food, sit down, eat a square meal, see? So it just kind of goes like that, you know, day in, day out, day in, day out. So, you know, of course, but the indigenous people, like here in this valley and elsewhere throughout North America, they use a different construct or different framework of conceptualization, which is like the hoop of life. Hoop of life. And there, you know, there's no corner, there's no back row. And everybody who is in that design has a relationship which is just like shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, hand in hand. And so this kind of a design here, it reinforces, I think for all people, you know, the circle or the hoop is a universal archetype. It immediately invokes like ideas of like beauty and harmony and balance and like peace and interrelatedness and interconnectedness and all these kind of things. It's like the pattern that the Creator has set for this creation. And so this is what you know, we can begin to integrate or to incorporate into our lives. So anyway, for me, the hoop dance is a great antidote, because it is a traditional dance, even though like it's been modified in recent years. I've seen some of the historical documentation on it showing that, you know, years ago, back in the 1800s, they maybe used only 4 to 7 hoops. But it's kind of modified. But, you know, just like everything else, nothing's static.
That's right.
You know,
Always going forward.
Yeah, you got everything's kind of in a state of flux, transformation, and change. So, you know, a lot of the people, like I got this dance and from people who had taken that medium and begun to develop it. And so the form that I use is with 28 hoops. And they're in 4 colors. They're black, red, yellow, and white. And this represents the different directions, different seasons and elements. Also reminds us of diverse kindreds. Diverse kindreds. You know, the world is just made up of all this infinite and beautiful diversity. And so just like the theme I mentioned earlier about the springtime, this is the this is the basic theme of the dance that I try and present, which is to portray various aspects of the spring, you know, just like the sun, the moon, flowers, trees, birds, butterflies, all these. And then what I always talk to the kids about, the kids is just, you know, that really it's beautiful to see the spring outside, you know, with all the beauty and color and sound and movement as all this light and all the energy comes down, light and heat comes down to the world and creates all that. But, you know, for you and I, we need to realize that we need that, but also in order for us to really advance and progress in life, we need like the light of knowledge and the warmth of love and compassion and all, you know, all these things, and validation and respect, all of these. And then so when we can receive that, not only receive that, because just like if you're, you know, if you're always receiving, eating, and you don't ever move around, well, you're going to die. You know, you're going to die. But same thing with knowledge and all these other things. When you receive that, then we reflect that and we apply that and we use that to develop ourselves and, you know, to progress further. So as we do that, then this is what enables us to advance and to do wonderful things with our lives and to be like that. And so all the designs that I make, I tell the kids, you know, when you see a design, just go ahead and applaud, but just applaud yourself. If you see a flower, think of yourself like that flower blossoming. See, so that's how I...
Oh, that really is a good interpretation of that type of situation. Now, Dan, for you, when you see the hoop, the circle, how that is responding in the Indian culture, where do you have to relate that back into where you come from?
I used to sit in a wash tub. Does that count?
You know, they're round.
They are round. You know, we came from just what he said, to square everything. And I'm thinking that maybe round might be a lot better because you can see everyone in the room. I don't have a round house, but my wife and I have talked about a geodesic dome and, you know, dreams of making something just out of the earth and the sticks and stuff that's right there. And I don't know. I think maybe the future of mankind will probably go more to a round architecture because it's so natural for the indigenous people of every country, the Mongolians. They use that round thing of goat skins. And down, you find it in South America, you find it in, you know, in the native population in Canada and here in Alaska, and everywhere the igloo is round. And so most of the houses and stuff, architecturally wise, are round in the world, and it's us that's gone up there and made them square.
Right. In fact, you know, it just hit me with my warped mind is, you know, even auditoriums, the best acoustics are rounded. And you know, and you both are into music, and you want your music to carry out there in the sweetness of a metal arc.
Yeah, and we sing round notes too. You know, it's not like the song doesn't come out zigzag like this. It's more of a round, homogeneous type of sound, and so I just love it.
Hey, it's going to be a great thing tonight. You know, April 15th, 7 o'clock. Viewing audience, don't miss that. We got about a minute and a half here, guys. Why don't you give a little PR statement to the viewing audience about why to come out tonight? Go ahead, Kevin.
Tonight, May 15th, 7 o'clock, we're going to be doing a program at the Polson High School Auditorium Theater. It'll be dynamite. We're going to have Dan Seals here. We're going to have some local singers, and also there will be the display of the art projects of the students. That'll be wonderful. I think that's around 7 o'clock. They'll be available for viewing, right? Right. So I encourage everybody to come out, and it'll be a great time.
All right.
Yeah.
Dan, you hit it since you're with your last minute here.
Well, I wanted to name the schools where the artwork came from. There's Arlie, there's
St. Ignatius.
St. Ignatius, there's the Two Eagles, Mission.
That's St. Ignatius.
Oh, okay. I'm losing Paulson.
Okay.
Paulson, and have I missed one?
Yeah, Ronan and Arlie.
Ronan.
Yeah. Okay.
I said Arlie.
Yeah,
and so all their artwork will be there together. And you know, the poems hit the mind, the paintings hit the eyes. All the cake that they made for the people, the unity cakes and all that for diversity, they got a chance to eat them. It touched the mouth. We'll hear music and the sacred flute. And we'll see dance with our eyes, and it's just like a whole.
It's a hoedown.
It's a hoedown.
It's gonna be a hoedown.
Holistic night. You get to see the arts from everywhere and celebrate just all of us being us.
That's right. Well, viewing audience, I want to thank Dan Seals, Kevin Locke,
Okay, thanks, Larry.
and I hope you guys enjoyed this program. I hope you show up tonight at the 15th again, tonight at 7 o'clock. And this has been Larry Pitts from Good Medicine saying have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Good Medicine is your program. We hope you watch this and subsequent programs to stay informed about your health care. And we'd like to hear from you about how we're doing. Please direct any comments or suggestions you have to us. You can reach us at